Hey, good evening, doing the most media community. I'm Amanda, your host, and I wanted to come in and get started with our live today. We have much in store, so I don't want to wait too long. Let's get into it. Our community guidelines, let's go ahead and cover those first. Please be respectful, but definitely be engaged. Drop a question in the comments if you have it. If you know anything about the business we're featuring for the day, please feel free to share about your experience in the comments as well. We always appreciate the feedback and let us know where you're watching from. Our guidelines are just to be respectful, so please just follow those and share, like, and follow Doing the Most Media, where we make all the connections for the community, for the cause, and for the culture. What do you get today when you mix or when you combine movement, mindset, and a community of women? You're about to find out. We all know that working out is way easier when you have a community of people with you. Whether you return to the gym in person or whether you're still working out and staying at home and staying safe, it's all important to stay active. So please join me and the community as we welcome Chief Movement Leader Nikkei. Thank you. We are so glad to have you. So I don't want to, get too far into what you do without getting to know you, or at least allowing the community to get acquainted with you. So will you please share with the community about yourself?
Fulfilled, and knowing that there was more that I wanted to offer my community. So that is how I found myself doing the work that I do now. So again, living in Cleveland and leading at Nola Movement. And at Nola Movement, we are all about physical movement, positive mindset practices, and community connection. And it was really growing up and in my college days that I found the power of moving your body and what happens when we as women move our body and really turn the focus on ourselves on the inside out, and how that allows us to create lives that we love living. So that is the work that I do. I'm grateful to be living in Shaker Heights with my amazing husband, Archie Green. He's also a powerhouse in the community, and I'm grateful to have his support. And outside of my work and my family, I am a proud member of South Euclid United Church of Christ. I'm a proud board member of the Art Therapy Studio. And really now, if you find me running around town, it's probably with a cup of coffee, and I'm getting ready to teach a class or support women through the coaching, the wellness coaching that I do. So that's a little bit about me. I love coffee. I tell people I love coffee. I love cocktails. I love samba. So I'm either dancing, coaching, working, resting, repeat. So I think that's probably the medium version of about me.
That's all great information. I mean, not everyone knows you, and I mean, those who do know you just know the joy of being around you, I'm sure. So let's talk in a little bit about Nola Movement. What is Nola Movement at its core, if you had to explain it to somebody who maybe has never heard of or experienced Nola Movement?
Absolutely. At its core, Nola Movement is a space for women to ignite through physical movement, positive mindset practices, and community connection. Those are the three pillars. So most people know me for my Zumba classes and the energy that I have. And it became really clear to me that that is something that we all have inside. And I really want women specifically, I want to help women ignite that inside of them. And I believe that that's how it happens, physical movement. So any given night of the week, you can visit Nola Movement and jump into a virtual class right now, right? You can connect with us through our community Facebook pages and the different conversations that we have. And really everything that we do is about positive mindset practices. So if you're in a class, the ladies, my movement leaders that lead the classes, they are gonna speak life into you as they are making you sweat. If you step into a wellness coaching conversation with me, we're really going to do that internal work to really allow yourself, and again, women, really, my heart is really working with women, but allowing the women that I work with to begin to create lives that they love. I believe it all starts on the inside. So those are the bare bones of what we do at Nola Movement: physical movement, positive mindset practices, and community connection.
That is so important. I feel like especially now there's been so much that has changed and transformed, really moved the world and shifted so much that having that core space and that anchor place where you can go and just be is just ultimately important.
Absolutely. And it's it really, the year where I feel like it was the easiest for me to quit, 2020, right? 2020 was a year for everybody, and I was ready to quit. It is now so clear to me how much the work that I'm doing is needed. I even just, on any given day, I get messages, I have calls from women who are like, I am not moving my body the way I used to, and I can feel the impact on my mental health. Or I don't get to hang out with people the way I used to, and I'm feeling the impact on my physical health. Just my energy is lower, right? So, I'm really proud of the work that we do at Nola Movement, and I think it's never been more needed than right now.
I totally agree with that. There is so much that goes into creating the movement. That what went into the decision to go into having your Nola movement and being there full time? That's a big transition right there.
Big transition. And like I said, in the about me is like, I feel like I was someone who checked all of the boxes, right? Kind of the prescription that you're given as a kid, and particularly as a Black woman, to succeed. Like, hey, you need to make sure you do X, Y, and Z so that you can be successful. And I feel like I followed all of those rules only to find myself like, this isn't it. And so it was the combination of really just listening to my heart and listening to the vision and what I feel like, the creator put on my heart for my purpose in this life and the work that I'm called to do. So I feel like it was the intersection of that and really just trusting myself, trusting that I could step out and do this thing. So it was definitely, it took a while. It took a while, but again, just that intersection of the vision that I was giving and then trusting that within myself. I hope that answers the question.
Oh, it and talk about the faith.
It feels very woo, and I know that for people that are like thinking about going full time in their work or in their passion project or in their side hustle, I think it's again, it's so easy to want to have all the boxes checked, but there's something to be said about just trusting that your parachute is going to open, and it's not going to be perfect. I mean, I can talk about all the mistakes I've made, all the money that I've spent in the wrong places, all of the wrong things that I did, initially stepping out.
Uh-oh, we have a little connection problem, but as soon as it's worked out, we will get right back with McKay because this is the conversation right here. In the meantime, if you're tuned in, still feel free to drop in the comments where you are watching or listening from so that you are able to engage in this conversation. We will definitely get more into this interview. Just give us a moment here as we reconnect and get back into this conversation. If you do have any questions so far for Nikkei, if you have any questions about NOLA movement, aside from obviously where it's located in Cleveland, please feel free to drop some questions in the comments about the classes that are offered and any questions you may have about anything else relating to that NOLA movement experience, the community and mindset. This will be a really awesome place where we would have a commercial otherwise. All right, we'll give it another couple minutes. I know it takes a while to get logged back in. If anybody have any questions, definitely jump in the comments. I see we've got Sandusky, Ohio tuned in. Appreciate you from Sandusky. All right. Hey, you're coming back in. Give it 1 second. No worries. We were talking about how you went full time with NOLA movement.
Yes. And, I know that I think sometimes it feels like very woo, like, oh my gosh, like the stars must align. And, at least sometimes I feel like that's how my answer is, but it really, just trusting yourself and knowing that it's not going to be perfect, right? I've made so many mistakes. There's been so much money that I spent. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I didn't know that wasn't going to work out. But the lessons, like I don't consider any of the decisions that I've made failures. Like I've learned so much after I made the decision to commit. And it was a gradual process. So when I decided to work NOLA movement, first I was like, okay, I'm working NOLA movement. And then I was like, wait, I need to get a part-time job. So I was doing NOLA movement and a part-time job. And then I was like, okay, I think I'm ready to do it full-time again. And then now I'm doing it full-time. And I'm trusting that I'll be doing it full-time moving forward. But regardless, like I have learned so much. So part of it is just getting on the road and test driving whatever that vision is that you have, whatever that like ping that you're feeling in your spirit. It's not by accident. It's not by accident. So really just, again, listening to creator and source and then trusting yourself.
Definitely. I don't think your answer is woo at all. I think it's just really the truth. I think a lot of people see what's on the outside, the finished product, and they have no clue the mini steps, the baby steps, the different things that have taken place that maybe didn't go quite right, that were totally lessons along the way. So appreciate your honesty.
Absolutely.
NOLA movement being a newer business. I won't say it's brand spanking new, but it's still a newer business. The pandemic has presented challenges for everybody. How have you been able to maintain passion for what you do with all of the ups and downs and the changes that have gone on?
Yeah, 20, and again, we all know, right? Those of us that are here listening, whether you're watching live or the replay, we all know 2020 was the realest of real years. Like everything got all the way real, from, friendships, relationships, bank accounts, jobs, health, like everything got like crystal clear last year. And so it was the same for me and this business. And I really, as I shared before, last year would have been a great year for me to be like, deuces, I'm out. But I took a breath. I am part of a business community that I'm grateful for. And I was reminded and encouraged to reconnect with my why. Why does this matter? Why is it important? Why did you create this business? Why have you fallen so many times and continue to get up? And are you going to let 2020 be what takes you out? And so anchoring into my why, which my why for this business is because I truly believe the present is female. I believe that when women are well from the inside out, that's how we change the world. That's it. When women are well from the inside out, that's how we change the world. And so, again, going back to what I do at Nola Movement, I help women ignite because I need us, the world needs us to be well so that when we show up at work, when we show up in the community, when we show up for our families, we feel good. We are our best selves. And I truly believe that's how we change the world. So it took me really digging deep and reconnecting with that why to get the clarity to like, okay, well, I can't do classes in person anymore, but how do I still deliver on the work that I've been called to do? And so it looks like Zoom. It looked like all the technology things, right? We just had that hiccup where I got kicked out and the internet just went crazy, right? That was all of 2020. It was so painful, especially as an instructor. I've been teaching for over 10 years and I love the live environment. Going virtual was so painful. Learning the technology was so painful. But is it my pain more important than my purpose? Absolutely not. Because my purpose is to make sure that women are well so that when we show up in the world, we feel good. We show up as our best selves. And so reconnecting with that allowed me to like, okay, well, I'm going to learn this Zoom thing. And so, Nola Movement last year, we had a phenomenal year. We moved our classes virtual. We did a live retreat in person outside. It was amazing. And I created a 12-week program all online where I really get to work with women one-on-one and we work through those pillars of physical movement, positive mindset practices, and community connection. So 2020, again, really brought the clarity in like, okay, if you're going to do this thing, this is your new platform. How are you going to deliver? And so that's how I kept the passion going. I really stayed connected to my purpose.
That's amazing because it really sounds like you took that previous checklist you were using where you checked everything off and you moved that self-care and that empowerment and that movement, you moved that to the top and you've created that movement not only for yourself, it's not a personal thing, it's transformative. It's for all women to enjoy and join in and make those same transformational changes. That's a beautiful thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
To the top of the list we go.
Yeah, that's it. That's it.
So what are some of the benefits, if you had to like summarize it, what are some of the benefits for having been in business for yourself full time and not necessarily being tied or tethered to an employment situation?
Yeah. The benefits, the first is like I get to show up to work like this, which you can't see, but I've got my Jordans on, I've got a little beanie. So I get to wear whatever I want, which is great. But I think the biggest benefits, the two that come to top of mind, in addition to getting to dress how I want and really express my style, is I'm able to design my day in a way that flows with my energy. So what that means is energetically, I work really great in the mornings and I work really great in the evenings. And so that's how I schedule my day. So for the most part, midday, I'm resting. I'm kind of re-energizing because I'm probably teaching at night or I'm on a call like this or I'm doing a coaching call. So I've really been able to organize my day and my life around the way my energy flows. And that's such a gift that I'm able to do that. And because I'm outside of kind of your normal structure of 9 to 5 or 8 to 5, I have the freedom to do that. And that's amazing. And the other thing I would say is, again, I get to truly live my purpose every day. Like I no longer have to compartmentalize my life. So everything I do, wherever you see me in the community, again, it's either about physical movement, positive mindset practices, or community connection, right? So I don't have to take on and off different hats based on where I'm at or who I'm speaking to. I'm always speaking to those pillars. I'm always speaking to empower women, whatever room I'm in, whatever space I'm in. So, for me, like that is one of the greatest benefits of really having my own business is when I show up as my full self, unapologetic. And if I'm in the room, you know what I'm about.
Definitely. That is a benefit, and that's amazing to have. But let me jump a little bit. We'll jump kind of forwards and backwards here with this question. We talked a bit about Kent State earlier, but I want to ask for the community so that they are aware. What are some of the skills, knowledge, and abilities that you bring to NOLA Movement? When people come to you, they're getting the best. They're getting all this great service, but can you explain some of the back end of that?
Yeah, absolutely. And this is where, I am grateful I checked the boxes, right? Because I truly believe not only from an energetic and spirit side, but a very technical like skill and ability side that I am prepared to do this work. So my background is Kent State, I graduated with my undergraduate in fashion merchandising, but I also earned my MBA. So I have a business degree. So when it comes to really thinking about the business, really, even today I sat down and I was like working the financials. And even though it's not one of my favorite things to sit down and do, like I'd rather be in the studio dancing, like once I jump in, it's like a fish jumping back into water. So it's like, okay, move these numbers around, make this work, right? So from a business standpoint, I have the skills and knowledge to confidently run and operate a business. And then my real world experience, my work experience, just again, coming from the world of fashion, a lot of my work between college and going into this work full time was customer facing. So I was always in some type of sales role or retail role or public facing role where I had to be comfortable and confident using my voice. I had to, whether it was getting on the phone and working with a client through an issue that they might be having, or selling, in my previous life, I worked a sales job where I was at the mall and I was literally like selling HelloFresh, if you guys are familiar with that company. So just learning how to talk to people, that's a huge part of what I do, because part of the work of having a business is talking to people, right? Is being comfortable just talking to people, meeting people, sharing in a few sentences what we do and what I do. So absolutely my background as far as the technical knowledge, I have it. And then, I've been dancing as a licensed Zumba instructor for over 10 years now. So as far as if you come and take a class with me, I can tell you very confidently that you're getting an excellent movement class. I am from an experience standpoint, I'm not only bringing the energy, but I'm going to show you different types of rhythms, and you're going to learn history about the rhythms. And I really care for each and every one of the women that step into my classes. So you're really going to get like this full immersive experience when you join a Zumba class or a Samba class. So absolutely checking all the boxes, even though looking back, I'm like, I checked all these boxes. What for what? Now that I'm in my purpose and in my passion, I'm like, okay, it worked out. I checked all the boxes.
I think that's very amazing that they're their authentic self. Like when you say that, you speak it with such confidence, and it's such a it's so refreshing to hear that, because when you ask people what they do and what skills and knowledge, people tend to say it in a very tiny voice or in a very small way. And it's not braggadocious. It's having that confidence to deliver. And people need to know that people can deliver what they're looking for. And so I can always appreciate that in anything.
Yes. Yeah. And I use that same energy when I, tap someone to join NOLA movement as a movement leader. So because I've worked to really grow and expand this business, that meant that I could no longer teach all of the classes. I really needed to take the role where, okay, I want this business to grow, so I have to work the actual business. But how do I find and choose movement leaders that are going to bring that same expertise, that are going to deliver that same experience, that have that same care for the women when they step into the classes. And that's how I choose the women that I invite to work with me as the movement leader. So any of the classes that you step into with Nola Movement, even if I'm not teaching, literally the women, I have handpicked them. I have seen them. I've been watching them before I invited them to teach with me. I've been watching them because it's so important for me, the experience that we create when women join us. And I wanted to essentially replicate what I feel like I was able to deliver in each of the movement leaders that I've asked to help me lead this movement.
And you have amazing movement leaders. Yes, you do. I've enjoyed classes with, I think, everybody at this point, honestly. And I kind of just re-stumbled across NOLA movement in, I think, May, when the pandemic had really gotten into full swing and people were going a little bit stir crazy. So awesome and amazing instructors for sure. So I want to ask for the people, how can people connect with NOLA movement? How can women go ahead and get linked, even if they're not necessarily in Cleveland or even necessarily in Ohio?
Yes. And that's another like blessing in disguise with this pandemic, right? My intention was to really focus in and serve my community in Cleveland right here. But going virtual now, like I get to be visible and accessible to the world because our virtual classes are never going away. Like I can tell you that unequivocally right now on this call, NOLA Movement virtual classes will continue even when, live classes for us pick up again and it's safe to be outside and have crowds of people. We will always continue the virtual platform. So I really do invite you, again, if you're watching live, if you catch the replay, if it's a random Thursday night and you're scrolling YouTube or Facebook and you're watching this video, I invite you, connect with me and connect with us on Facebook and on Instagram. You can find us, you can Google us, NOLA, like New Orleans, NOLA movement, MOVEMENT. If you put that into Facebook, if you put that into Google, if you put that into Instagram, we're going to come up and you'll see me. You can follow me in my personal page, but connect with us. And from there, you'll see our schedule. You'll see all of the amazing things that we've got going on. And I invite you, jump in. I don't let there be a barrier between you and this powerful movement. If there's something you want to join, jump in.
I would agree and encourage that 100%. You won't be disappointed. You will be sweaty and happy, and all the good endorphins will be flowing when you get done, for sure. So let's talk a little bit about the future. As far as planning ahead, a plan is always important for anything that we do, whether it's personally, professionally, with our businesses. What are some of the future plans for NOLA movement?
Yeah. So I am so excited. And this is actually some of the work that I was sitting with today as I was just looking over plans just for 2021. Like I shared, 2020 really allowed me to anchor into the work that I'm doing. And now that we're more comfortable on the virtual platform, 2021 is full and bright for us. So, we have our movement classes almost every day throughout the week. And our big things coming up this year are our mini retreat, and we're going to have a full retreat. Those are going to be live in-person events, again, where we invite women to connect in person. Of course, we will be taking the appropriate precautions due to COVID, but those will be coming up in the spring and in the fall. And, one of the most powerful things that I've created at NOLA Movement is Ignite. That is a 12-week program where I invite women who are really ready to step in and ignite their health and wellness journey, release the cycles of guilt and shame that they have around their health and wellness, and come into this program and let's work together. We do, again, you're going to hear me say it over and over, right? Physical movement, positive mindset practices, and community connection. So we get a plan together, and as a small community, because Ignite is really for a small community of women, we work together over those 12 weeks to Ignite. So we do that program in the spring and in the fall. So that will run twice this year, and really just continuing to grow and expand. So that is what is coming up for this next year. Lots of fun master classes. A lot of women know me as well for my samba team. So I've created one of the only samba dance teams in Cleveland. So that is work that I am excited to also grow and expand this year. So we learn about the history, we learn the basics, and then we prepare to perform. So when events and live things are happening again, Samba Amor, which is the name of that team, will be prepared to come and put the cherry on top of any event that is happening around town. But that's really what's in store for 2021 for Nola Movement. And beyond that, it really is just continuing to expand this work, continuing to, again, help women ignite from the inside out and create lives that they love living.
Okay. All of this sounds so powerful. That ignite by itself, just the names, the purpose and the intention and everything that you've just spoken about. That's not like you can definitely tell there's no half stepping there. There's the inclusive information.
Yes.
You're including the education piece and the history about, the music and the dance. I mean,
yes.
You're getting so much out of your classes. That's a benefit in itself. So I want to make sure to give you the floor to share anything that we maybe did not cover in all of the questions that we've discussed. But I want to make sure that there's anything else, anything important that you want to share with the community that it is out there today.
Yeah. This has been such a full time. And again, thank you, Amanda, for sharing your spotlight and allowing me to share the work that I'm doing at Nola Movement. I think just to really repeat what I've said, 2020 was such a year, right? And if you are alive and breathing and you are watching this right now, again, whether you're joining us live or you're watching the replay, taking care of yourself first. And I know I've been speaking to women, but this is really for everybody, for anybody. Taking care of yourself through physical movement, and whether that's at home, and again, it's like pulling up a YouTube video, going for a walk around the block. So many of us are sitting now because we're working from home, right? Making sure you're getting that physical movement in throughout your day. It's critical. It is so important. The burden and the weight of the stress and the emotional turmoil that we've carried with just living in the midst of a pandemic, the doctors are already they already know it's coming. They know that this impact is like, it's like a wave that's going to rush over. And so make sure you are taking care of yourself, guys. And again, physical movement, positive mindset practices, whether you have a faith or you believe in God or whatever whatever your practice is, meditation, make sure that you're just speaking power over yourself, speaking life over yourself, taking care of that mental space, and stay connected. Stay connected. One of the greatest tools of the enemy is for us isolation. I know a lot of our connection right now is limited to virtual, but stay connected. Find a community that supports you, that encourages you, that speaks life into you, and take care of yourself. I think that is my biggest message to people, because if it's not at Nola Movement, that's okay. But right now, it is absolutely critical for us as we are, moving now into the first anniversary of life in a pandemic. Take care. Take care.
I mean, you said so much right there, just in that little bit. If anybody who is watching, like you said, either now in the live or on the replay, if you listen to this and you feel moved, take that moment, go to YouTube, go wherever you need to get that physical activity in. There are so many things taking tolls on our health right now that just that motivational piece right there from Nikkei should be a real catalyst for us to get moving. I know it is for me. Anytime I scroll past Nola Movement, I'm like, hey, I got to get moving. So definitely, if you subscribe or if you follow and you see them, that's that reminder. Take those reminders always. Know that their information, Nola Movement's information is listed in the description underneath this video. So if you don't have to go far and you don't have to remember anything, just click the links. That way you can get connected to the community and you can get started with really transforming your life and being a
Yeah.
part of the movement for
Yes,
sure.
yes, absolutely.
Thank you so much for coming on today and sharing with the community about your passion, purpose, and plan. Because goodness knows, with the PPP loans, those didn't necessarily get distributed equally or equitably, but we can definitely share the passion, purpose, plan here on Doing the Most Media and always be of support.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Thank you so much again for this invite and for sharing your light. And like I said, the present is female, and anytime I can connect with women and with other Black women who are out here really spotlighting us and the culture and moving us forward, I am happy to connect.
Well, thank you. We will definitely be connecting again. Thank you, community, for tuning in live. And if you're catching on the replay, definitely let us know in the comments. Thank you and have a good evening, everybody.
Bye, guys.